Guys, it has been another super productive, exciting week here on eBay. We got so many things listed on eBay, we got so many pieces of new inventory in, and we also sold a ton of stuff on eBay. So yeah, it's definitely been a busy one, but a super productive week here, and I'm excited to get exactly into what all the numbers were that we listed things for, as well as some of the new stuff that we picked up this week and some of the sales that we have to show for it. Before we get into today's video, if you guys haven't already, leave a like on this video and also subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's jump right into the first day of this week, which actually happens to be a Sunday night. Now, I decided just to take a little break, come down here, do a few listings, and I didn't do much, but I did manage to list 16 games on Sunday night for $220.84. I like to think I know it's a good week if I start out working on the weekend. I try not to work too much on the weekends because I want some time off, but I often do end up doing stuff, and usually it's not so much listing, but it's usually maybe doing a little bit of extra shipping to get ready for Monday, or perhaps it's doing some of the things I don't like to do throughout the week, like reorganizing inventory or moving shelves around or things of that nature that are a little bit more mundane. Nevertheless, as you can imagine, that put us in a good place for Monday, where we started off by listing 33 PS3 games that I'd already had tested from the week before for $325.67. Now, this day was a pretty busy one. Again, we started with those listings. I went on to shoot the Canada Post video that came out, I think it came out on Friday or Monday of last week, and then we went ahead and we tested a bunch of the PS4 and Wii games that we also had gotten from the $2,000 lot. I was sort of wrapping up that lot and doing a little bit of that stuff, so we had a bunch of Wii games that we had to go through, as well as getting all those PS4 games done. Then I spent the rest of Monday actually catching up on some accounting work. We're actually all wrapped up all the accounting that we needed to do for last year, which is fantastic, ready for taxes, which is always exciting, and I was doing some catch-up work into January just to sort of put some estimates out there in terms of how much we should be spending on inventory in order to meet our growth targets, as well as figuring out how much money we have, which is often an important overlooked thing that we need to try to keep up with. Now, of course, we did do some shipping on Monday, and I want to quickly go through some of the sales that we have here. There was one that was a really bad one. I'm going to explain why here in a second. So here's a look at all the sales, and we can start off with it right here, guys. This Nerf wheel. Now, believe me when I say this was a mistake to sell this for the price that we did. The net price we sold this for ended up being $9.49. Now, that's including shipping, and let me tell you, this item was not going in the letter mail slot. A little while back, we did a bulk edit on our store where we modified a bunch of shipping prices for all of the items that we sell, and I tried to make sure that I only had selected the video games when I did this, but some of the other items were unfortunately selected. Most of them I caught and I was able to fix, but this one was one that I didn't. So it got updated for whatever reason. I have a $3.50 shipping price, which means that we sold this item for $9.50, and I believe the shipping on it alone was almost $20. Did I still ship it? Yes, I did. I didn't want to cancel the order, risk having an upset buyer, so they just got a really good deal on a wheel delivered to their place. And that was that sale. Moving on here, though, we did have some good video game sales, which hopefully made up for that bad one. There was one loose game on top, and then all the games that you see in front of you, nothing standing out here that's too crazy, but overall some good sales. Now we move on to Tuesday, which was quite an exciting day because it started off with me and Araval going out on a little trip to see if we can find some games to purchase. Now, actually, we already had these ones lined up, but there was a lot of PS3 games with a PS3 console and some controllers that I think we picked up for $180 or $170, I want to say, and I think we're gonna make some really good money on it. Took a nice drive all the way downtown Toronto to pick this one up, but I think it's going to be worth the drive because we had some pretty good games in there, and the console alone should almost cover the cost of the lot with a couple games. Then when I got back, I spent the day listing the Wii and PS4 games that we had tested the game before. This ended up being 58 games in total between the PS4 and Wii games for $482.42. Next up, we got to Wednesday morning, which also started off very bright and early, where I got up and listed 32 Xbox 360 games for $233.68. These were games also left over from the $2,000 lot from the week before that I just hadn't gotten around to yet. I actually forgot that I'd already tested and cleaned these all. They were off on the side in a pile. So I went ahead and I listed all those guys on eBay. Now, Wednesday also ended up being fairly productive. I took a little bit of a break from testing video games, and I thought it might be time to test some of the consoles, including the PS3 console that we had just picked up the day before. So guys, quick update on the week. It's Wednesday now, going very well so far, and I'm about to start testing some consoles. So I've got 2 or 3 PlayStation 3s that I want to get drafted today, as well as a couple, I think we have an Xbox One, maybe a couple 360s and some other stuff, a PS2. So it's going to be a busy day in that sense. However, I want to just really quickly go over what I test when it comes to the PlayStation 3s, because I've gotten that question quite a bit, and this can kind of apply to every single console out there. But essentially what I've done is I've plugged it into the rack here and I've turned it on. Now, depending on how many consoles we have, sometimes I'll bring out a separate power station and then a separate TV, and I'll plug into that because it's easier. But in this case, with just a few, I'm plugging directly into the rack. Now, as you can see, we have no signal from the PlayStation 3, and this is a common thing that I see people have issues with, and that's why I wanted to pick the PlayStation 3 here specifically, because they actually have a setting that you have to select to change from HDMI to AV, which is a huge problem. For example, I've got this AV cable here going into it, not showing anything. If I pull that out and I put it into the other PlayStation 3 here, you can see that then we get a signal perfectly fine. So the issue there is going to be a setting. And so if you're wondering how to change that, you go into the video settings in your PlayStation 3, you see this BD-DVD video output format, and that's set to HDMI. What you essentially want to do is click on that, and you can switch it over between the two, and that will determine whether or not it goes to either one. So I like to put them on automatic here, and I believe that's the fix for that. Now I'll show you the rest on here since I have it open, but essentially what we do next is what I do is I put a disc in there, and with any controllers, I'm testing them on the home screen, then essentially testing them with the game ideally as well. But I put a disc in here, make sure that it reads it, which means the laser is functioning. I open up the game, maybe play it for a few seconds just to make sure it doesn't overheat, make sure the controller is working fine. And then when I'm all done that, I actually go back over here into the settings. I go down here to system settings. I go all the way down right here where it says restore PS3 system. That is essentially what I would do. I'm not going to do it here because this is the one I use to test, but you would just go through here. There's a couple of systems, and there's a simple reset, and then there's a full reset, which takes quite a bit of time. The full reset can take up to 8 hours. The simple reset is just a few minutes. So we always do the simple one. It says that, it's not necessarily completely deleted and that some stuff could be recovered, but it's still better than having a, fully left functional PS3 with all your stuff on it. So that's what we do because it's fast, but that's essentially all we do. And we do that kind of in the same way for the Xbox 360 and for a lot of the other consoles. Obviously, we're not doing system resets on PS2s and things, but for most of them, it's about as simple as that. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead here and get this one switched over to AV, and then we're going to go ahead and test a whole bunch of these. And just so you guys can see, I've gone ahead and grabbed a little HDMI TV, and now that I plugged HDMI into it, it's working fine. So yeah, Wednesday went pretty good, and I have all those consoles tested now. I haven't actually listed them yet, and today is Friday, so I was planning on doing it. However, we actually got some more in, and I want to test them while I still have the testing set up on the desk, so I can get those guys all tested as well. Then I'll be able to take pictures of them all at the same time and list them all together, probably for Monday. Moving on though, guys, to the most exciting day this week, which was Thursday, where Airval had called me and asked me if I wanted to do a little bit of a trip around the city to go hit up some value villages, which is an offer I can't decline. Now, we started off this trip actually up in Vaughan, where we went to meet up with somebody to pick up a whole bunch of Nintendo Wii games and Xbox 360 games. Now, this lot, I believe, was south of $300, somewhere in there, and we picked up a whole bunch of really good stuff for it. We had to go to a condo to get it, which is always a little bit tricky. I'm not sure if you guys do a lot of Facebook Marketplace pickups, but when you do, you'll find that there are a few locations here and there that are a little bit tricky to sort of figure out where to go to meet up, but eventually we did get the games, which was great. Now, beside this condo where we picked up the games actually happened to be a value village, so we went in there and stopped in for probably an hour or two, and we went through a whole bunch of items in there and actually walked out with some really good stuff. Then on the other side of the value village also happened to be a liquidation place, so we decided to stop in there, and we ended up spending probably another hour or two in there. So most of our day was spent literally within the vicinity of this first building where we picked up these games, and we ended up getting a lot of really good pickups. So guys, we've been in the exact same place now for about 4 hours. I'm not even kidding you. That condo building right there is where we bought the Wii stuff from. Then we went to this value village, which is right behind us, and then we spent another couple hours in this treasure hunt liquidation store. So we are literally still in the same place. Anyway, the car is full, the back seat and the trunk pretty much. So we're gonna maybe stop at one more place, but otherwise we're gonna call it a day. Let's see what happens. So this day continued and we went to a whole bunch more stores, but I figured that I'm actually going to make an entire separate video going through all the value villages. I shot a lot of footage in there and I want to do a little voiceover and maybe have that come out at some point later this week. So I'm very excited about that, and hopefully you guys will be looking forward to that video here soon. Now, I do still want to take you guys on a quick tour of some of the stuff that we picked up, just so you guys can get an idea of how much stuff we got. Literally, the car was full. It was pretty crazy. So take a look at that stuff. Now guys, I want to take a quick second and take you through the craziness on the floor here, which is the haul that we've recently picked up. Now, some of the stuff is from another bundle that we just did, which I think was like $1,100, and we picked up Super Nintendo there with a bunch of PAL games and some other Super Nintendo games. This was full of Xbox 360 games, which Airval has taken, as well as there was a PS2 in box and a PS2 Slim. We got an Xbox One X and a PS4 Pro, which Airval has, another 360 here, and then some more 360 consoles. That stuff was all $1,100. Then we had a whole bunch of the stuff from the actual trip that we did today. So in here was a couple games. Actually, that's from a whole nother trip. But hey, we're looking at everything here. This was one of the Value Village locations we went to. We got an Xbox 360, some phones in there. This other one here is full of a Wii console and some Wii controllers that unfortunately were priced separately, but nevertheless we got them. These are all the games from the Wii lot that we picked up. as well as, I don't know, I think there were some really good ones in here. I'm not sure where they landed. There was like Mario Party 8, Mario Kart, a couple other really good titles in there. This was also from that lot. We got an Xbox 360 with a Kinect sensor, a whole bunch of accessories in this bag here, a Wii Fit board. This was a console that we picked up at one of the Value Village locations. This is a VHS DVD combo unit that we got for $12. Now over here we have even more stuff, guys. This was a box that Airval actually picked up again on a separate haul, but this is a bunch of NES consoles, and there's a silver PS2 that's complete in here with 2 controllers. So that was a great pickup there as well. Moving on, this is all from the liquidation place. We got some valuable Hot Wheels in there, as well as a bunch of brand new packs of golf balls. Now the prices that you see there were not what we paid. We actually paid like pennies on the dollar for this stuff, so we got really good deals. This Value Village haul here included some different Star Wars VHS tapes, as well as a whole bunch of video games and a couple controllers. We got a nice box of Lego right there, as well as this Playmobil Ghostbusters set, also from the liquidation place that I think we paid like $20 for, and they're going for like almost $200. Then from this Value Village location, we got this Nintendo Switch game that was kind of complete here. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Starlink is what it says, as well as some different video games. And it still goes on, because from the liquidation place, we got this for, I think, again, it was 49 bucks. We probably paid just south of 20 for it, this big Hot Wheels set. We also got this talking Baby Yoda. This was priced at 70. I'm sure we paid like 25 bucks for it, I think. And they're going for quite a good bit of money. This one has a little bit of a mark there, which is not great, but even still, they were going for like 200 bucks online. So even if we get like 50 or 100 for it, we'd be in the profit. And so yeah, I think that was pretty much everything that we got. And with that said, guys, that leaves us here today on Friday, where I'm now going to begin to start drafting some of that stuff up, getting it listed. I've got some shipping to do, which I'm sure will either be included in next week's video or some other video, or on TikTok if you're not following me there. But nevertheless, there was a lot of work that got done this week, very productive, and I'm very excited about the progress that we made. Now, for anybody wondering, I did calculate the total of the things that we listed this week, which actually came out to $1,262.61. So not bad there at all. Also, I think I can get you guys the count, which was 139 games. So not too bad at all. Not a huge week for listing, but definitely with the other stuff that we got done, very productive nonetheless. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys, and get back to work. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found some value in it. If you did, I would highly recommend that you go down below and smash the like button on this video. Leave any questions, comments that you might have down below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. With that, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.